Hi everyone. As we continue in our energy unit, we are still focusing on electricity. Last time we learned how to light a bulb or two using the energy from a D-cell battery. This week we are going to take it even further. You will need your enrichment bag. From your enrichment bags, you are going to need your D-cell holder along with the D-cell that you provided. You will need your 4 wires once again. 3 and 4. You will need your light bulb holder with the light bulbs inside of them. You will also need something new, this little black contraption that has the lever that goes up and down. And you will need this motor that has the 2 wires sticking out of it, and your wire cutter, your wire stripper, if you have it handy. You may or may not need it. Now last week we learned that we needed the energy from a D-cell to power our light bulbs to turn on through the use of the wires. Now this week what we're going to do is using the energy from a D-cell, how to make a motor run. Now the motor, similar to what we saw in the light bulb, has 2 wires sticking out of it. Be very careful, be very gentle. These could fall off. We don't want them to fall off. If they do, they're tricky, but we can fix them. We want to make the motor run. How can we make a motor run using the power of a D-cell? Go ahead, pause this video, try to make the motor run. Let's see what happens. Now, if you remember, we wanted to make our light bulb light up, and we had to connect 2 wires to them. But our motor actually has its 2 wires already sticking out of it. Now, how do you suggest we turn this on? Remember, both sides of the battery are important. Let's put 1 wire on one side of the battery and the other on the other side. Oh, can you hear it? It's on. My motor is running. Now I know you could hear it, but I would like to also see the motor run. So what I have done is connected a piece of tape to the shaft, and then let's connect the motor. Oh, now you can hear and see the motor is running. Hopefully you were able to do this without a problem. Now you may say that, okay, great, I got it to work, but I don't want this motor to just be running continuously, right? How can I turn it off? Is there a button? What can I do? Take the battery out, but imagine all of our battery operated machinery. Do we want to keep taking the battery in and out to turn it off? No. I can disconnect the wire, and that would do it, but that doesn't seem practical either, right? I don't want to go in there and disconnect wires. How do we turn things on and off? How do I turn the lights on and off? With a switch, right? And here's a switch. With this switch, we should be able to control the motor, turn it on and off. Now, which position do you think is on? Metal to metal, right? The metal to metal completes the circuit, and that's on. And when I want to turn it off, I flip it off. Let's see how the switch works. Now for this part, we're going to try to get our motor to run using a switch. You will need 1 wire, the switch, the motor, the battery, and the holder. If we investigate this switch for a minute, you'll see that there are two knobs with a screw, a metal screw, and these knobs can loosen counterclockwise and tighten clockwise, and same on the other side. Now what you want to do is loosen the screw enough to leave a gap for the wire to slide in. Once the wire slides in, you can wrap it around, making sure it's a metal to metal contact. Remember, the metal is conductive, the plastic is just an insulator, and you want to tighten just enough to make sure it's a close contact. Not too tight that it'll break the wire. Now you have a switch, you have a motor, wire, battery, and a holder. Take a few minutes and try to figure out how you can make the motor run using a switch. To make the motor run with a switch, all the parts that you see here need to be connected to create a closed circuit. I'm going to put this wire on my battery, and my circuit is not yet complete. It is an open circuit because this wire is not connected. I'm going to bring this switch over and wrap it around this part of the switch, and everything is connected. Well, almost. I need to turn my switch on now to have the motor run. Wow. And to turn it off, I open the circuit. To turn it on, I close the circuit. How fun! We learned how to turn a motor on and off using a switch, and previous knowledge we had of the power of a battery, how it provides the energy to run the motor. Now we have 3 more wires and 2 more light bulbs. I'm gonna give you guys some time to investigate on your own. Try to figure out, can you light up the bulbs and the motor all using the switch? Pause this video and try to see if you can figure it out. Let's see if I got this. So I have 1 wire coming out of my battery, going into the switch. I have both my motor and my light bulb connected to my battery, and both the motor and the light bulb connected to the switch. Let's see. Whoa! They are both lighting up. Both the light bulb and the motor are going strong. Let's turn it off. What if I unscrew my light bulb this time? We tried it last week. Let's see what happens. If I unscrew my light bulb, will the motor still run? Still runs. Put it back in. What kind of a circuit have I created? Is this a series or a parallel? We learned last week this must be a parallel circuit. If it were series, it would be 1 connected in a row, but this is parallel. That means there are 2 routes of energy being created. 1 going to the motor, 1 going to the light bulb. These 2 are not dependent on one another. So I've only added 1 light bulb. You got it. Go try to add one more light bulb. See if you can do both light bulbs and the motor. You may say that you were a wire short to connect the last bulb in. Can you figure out another way using these materials? How to light the light bulb, the other light bulb, and the motor. Go ahead and try it. Let's see. I'm gonna pull down the lever, close the circuit. Wow, look at that. Motor's running, light bulbs are lit, but the light bulbs don't look so bright. They're kind of dim. Why are the bulbs dim, but the motor looks like it's going just fine? Let's talk about what we did here. So I have, hard to see with all my wires. I'm gonna try to see if I can move it around a little bit, but the motor is connected to the battery. There's two paths that are leaving this battery. The motor is feeding directly into the motor. And so the motor is connected directly to the battery. But the bulbs have one path. There's only one path coming from the battery to the bulb going to the other bulb. These two bulbs are connected in a series, not in a parallel. Do you see that? There's only one wire. It's one after the other. They don't each have their own path. That's why they were so dim. We had to do this because I was short one wire. I couldn't find another way. Let's see if we can understand this a little bit better on the board. I have my battery, my motor, my light bulb. I have a wire coming out of the battery going into the motor, another wire coming out going into the light bulb. Both the motor and the light bulb are connected to the switch. This is an open switch where if I close it, then we have a closed circuit and it will run. Here is my open switch, and all I had to do was move this lever to close it. In my second circuit, I also have the battery, the motor, and the two light bulbs. The motor is connected to the battery, and the light bulbs are connected, but in one path. This is a series. And they are both connected to the switch. And to close the switch, I'm going to just have to move it to the closed position and create a closed circuit. I have used 1, 2, 3, 4 wires here. Using all these materials, I want you to go ahead, try different combinations, really become experts on how to use the switch, how to light the bulb, how to run the motor, and in creating both series and parallel circuits. Once you are done, take apart all of the components that we have used here, save them in your enrichment bag, because we're going to use everything next time for a big engineering lab.